Hey, I'm Meg, and today I'm going to show you how I build a first version of an app with AI from start to finish. And whether you're non-technical like me or even a seasoned developer, you're going to be impressed by how good these AI tools are. Let's get right into it and start building. We're going to be using a tool called Phoenix.new today, which I intentionally chose for the type of app that I'm going to be building, which requires many users using the app at once. Here's a quick comparison chart that I just had Perplexity create about the different AI app builders that are out there, the most popular ones, and then why you might want to use Phoenix.new over that. And the bottom line here, and the reason it's going to work well for my app, is because you have high performance and scalability when multiple users are accessing your app at one time. Here's what it looks like once you log in. It's pretty simple, straightforward. You have your chat on the left and then your IDE or integrated development environment right here in the center. And just to get things started, I'm going to paste in my prompt in the chat and I'll press enter. Now, let me tell you about the app that we're building today. So I have a community called Women Building with AI, and this is a virtual community. We do have some in-person events, but it's mostly virtual. And I really want to get people from the community talking. And I feel like a coffee chat is a really good way to do that. It doesn't feel the same as like a Zoom breakout room for me just because of the vibe. And I'm inspired by this company, Ro.am. I've been seeing their ads everywhere. And basically, they're saying this is the office of the future. You have a remote team, but you're able to see who's meeting from your team and pop into rooms pretty casually, is the way I understand it. I thought, what if I could emulate this vibe for my community, Women Building with AI, and have like a virtual coffee house? So maybe every Friday we open up the coffee house and whoever wants to pop in and just chat and just naturally network with people could do so. So that's the idea. It's really ambitious, I know. This prompt that I used kind of explains this and then says exactly what I want to create for this app. Some of the core features are having an animated coffee shop map showing 6 numbered tables, a button that says pour me a coffee to enter the lounge and join the queue, a live counter showing who's in the coffee shop. We'll get to all this in a second. I just wanted to show you what the prompt looked like. I'll paste it below so that you can look at it more in depth later. But let's see what Phoenix.new is saying. So it says, love the concept. Here's the high level plan. So I just want to scan the 15 steps that it comes up with to make sure that it's on the same page. If at any point you're doing this and you feel like it's not on the same page, go ahead and correct it in the chat because you don't want it to go execute a plan that doesn't align with your vision. A Phoenix Live View project called Coffee House. Cool. Looks good to me. It looks like it covered every part of my prompt. So I'm going to say yes. Proceed with the 15 steps. Cool. It says, great, before we start coding, let's settle on the visual design. Since it's a cozy coffee shop for a spontaneous conversation, here are some aesthetic directions. I like that it came with that to me first because it understands, or at least I feel like it understands, that the vibe matters here. That's why I'm creating this in the first place. And that's why I'm doing this instead of just having a Zoom link for everyone. Okay, I guess I'll try warm and rustic, maybe. We'll try artisan cafe, actually. We can always fix that later. But okay, so it's starting and it's going to generate a new Phoenix app with real-time capabilities. A few things that I want to point out as it starts to build. So this is completely agentic. It's going out and writing all the code for us right now, which is great. It just started an MD file, which is a text file for the plan, which is great because then I know it's going to go through step by step. I can actually read through this plan right now and make sure that everything is accurate. Here on the right, it gave me a live preview of what it's building, which is great because I can choose to expand this. But right away, it gave me a live URL of what I'm building. So that's pretty cool because I can preview it in real time. Here, I can see all of the code that it's writing, and then here I could see how it actually looks. Wow, okay, we are just like a couple of minutes in, and it already created this UX UI for coffee house, virtual coffee chat lounge. That's really cool. Okay. Now, I'm not going to touch anything right now. I'm just going to let it go, and then we'll preview it a little bit later. One thing I did want to point out as it's going is that I want it to have the video capability so that anyone could join an actual video call. And I found something called daily.co. It was recommended to me by Claude, which is where I came up with the prompt for all of this. And daily.co apparently is a great solution for embedding video UI into this app. So I went with it. I got an API key, and hopefully it turns out well for us. Now, I do recommend reading the full chat as it's going along so that you can understand fully what it's doing and what decisions it's making. This is also a great way as a non-technical person to learn more technical things because it does a really good job at explaining it in pretty simple terms. And anytime I do have a question about something that's happening, I always ask the chat, which I highly recommend that you do. And something that's pretty cool that I learned about Phoenix.new is that since it's all cloud-based, you don't have to worry about installing things onto your computer that you might not be completely sure about. Often when I've vibe coded in the past, I'm installing all of these potentially questionable things to my computer, and this is that degree of separation because if it's installing something and your project breaks, this is all based on the cloud, so you can revert back. Okay, so we're on step 12 right now, so we're almost there. It's pretty comprehensive what it's done, and as you can see, like, it's doing so much work before checking in with you, which is why you really need to approve the plan, make sure that it's a good plan before you hit go. I feel pretty good about what it's done so far. Let's see. It looks like it is resolving errors in real time. So if it does run into any error, it says like, I see there's a timeout error with the web page. Let me check the server logs to see what's happening. So it's debugging itself as it's building. Okay, and it found the issue. Cool. So now we're on step 14. Great. So it has finished all 15 steps. It says that there is some sort of presence tracking error. And it's giving me some options on how to proceed because it's been stuck on the issue. Let's see if we can fix it. I'm just going to press fix the presence issue. We'll see what happens. I think all in all, this took maybe 10 minutes to make. Yeah, I would say 10 minutes is accurate. So really, really robust app. I mean, I haven't even looked at it yet. So let's see what it's able to do and if it's able to self-heal right now. It says there's some syntax errors. Oh, wow. I think it did fix it's testing it right now. Oh, there's a timeout error. So now it's diagnosing it. I'm going to be honest. This is the most sophisticated app I've ever tried to build from start to finish. And if it's able to truly get even remotely close to as ambitious of an app I'm trying to create, I will be truly blown away, I think, because the other app builders are good, but I can already tell that this one, it feels more intelligent. It feels more sophisticated. Okay, so it's still having problems with this. So I'm going to say start fresh with the live view and going to give it a couple of minutes to try to fix it before I come back. Okay, so apparently that worked because now it says everything is working. Oh, whoa. Okay, cool. So now I pressed that and apparently, wow, okay, this already works. This is crazy. I haven't integrated the real API for DailyCo. I'm going to do that in a second by providing my API key. I just want to show you this. It says I'm at table 1 right now. I have 5 minutes to chat, but if I like the conversation with the person, then I can extend it for 5 minutes. And then if I want to meet someone new, that's kind of mean if I say, like, if I'm talking to someone and I click meet someone new. So I might take that off because I don't want to have someone just dip out of the conversation. Wow, this is pretty cool. How do I go back? Text only chat mode, meet someone new. I guess the meet someone new button goes back to this chat lounge page. I think what would be fun here is I would make it look a lot nicer, just with branding, but then also I would add some sort of background music that sounds like a coffee house. I think that would be really fun. Because, like, if you're walking into a coffee house, you want the vibe. All right, so let's make this functional now. And then I'm going to deal with the way it looks in future versions, but I want to be able to invite someone in here to test it out with me. Pretty good, by the way, this for a one-shot, like, first version. I'm really, really impressed. As you saw, it was a little bit bumpy to get a couple of the errors smoothed out, but really not a heavy lift on my end. I just said it fixed the presence issue, and then it was like, well, can't do that. So it recommended I start fresh with live view. It was literally just a button I had to press. Okay, so let's do the daily co-integration. So hopefully this one will put the real API from daily.co. Yeah, it says I'll add proper daily.co API calls. So is it actually, yeah, it's doing that. And I like that you know that it's actually writing code in this visual indicator over here on the right. Sometimes not seeing that it's actually writing anything in these other AI generator apps is frustrating because you don't know if it's working. So here you can actually scroll down and see that it's physically writing the code right now, which is quite long, I might add. In case you're curious, I don't plan to commercially market this app. I only want to use it internally as a tool. So just keep that in mind. When I create any app that is for external use, my idea in creating that is not to manage it as it scales. Mine is to validate the idea with real users and see if the idea has legs, because then I'll go hire a technical team to help me maintain and grow it. Because I didn't start building all of these things to manage all of the technical parts of it. I only wanted to get my ideas out into the world. And I think that's what's so cool about AI is it's completely democratized the building process. All right, so it says incredible success with the celebration emoji, so that's a big deal. It's working perfectly, apparently, but it never asked me for my API key still. So I'm a little sus. Okay, so I'm going to say you never asked me for my API key for Daily Co. So the integration isn't actually working. I just ran into this before I was able to send that. It says, chats are limited to 100 messages. Squash your chat to continue with summarized history. So I'm going to press squash chat. So I think what it's going to do is just summarize everything we've gone through. Yeah, it's showing what's working perfectly, what we just made work, what's broken and missing. That's a great recap. I use Claude Code additionally, and you have to squash your context basically. But I wish it had all of this because it has an at-a-glance view of what you were doing, what you just did, and then what you still need to do. So I appreciate that. Okay, so now I should be able to press enter and submit that chat about the API key for daily.co. I'm going to put my API key in now, but I'm going to edit this part out so that it doesn't expose my API key. Okay, so now that I've added that API key in, it tested it itself, which is great. I love that it's always testing as a computer before I have to manually test it. It says cannot get coffee chat. What does that mean? Here's the error I got. And then I'll paste that in. It says the room creation is working, but the iframe URL format is incorrect. So it's going to fix this domain. Okay, I'm going to test this out. Enter your name. Oh my God, it might actually work. Unblock your camera and microphone. Okay, nothing is being prompted for me. I'm going to say, I don't see a notification, like a toast notification that pops up and says, I need to access your camera. To request camera or mic access. Okay, here we go. Hope you can see this in the screen share, but I took it outside of the code editor or the IDE on Phoenix.new. And now, because I'm in the preview URL, I do see the toast notification requesting access to my camera and microphone. So I'm going to say allow while visiting the site. I'll put in Meg. No way, that's me. That's crazy. Okay, join. Wow. Okay. So as you can see, it's actually working. The timer's not working. I should fix that. Extend 5 minutes. Okay, cool. It only goes down 1 second. That's weird. What? That's crazy. That's so crazy. Okay. You left the call. Have a nice day. This is so cool. Okay, I'm gonna now go back to Phoenix.new and say, wait, this is great. But I'm gonna say, make the timer functional. Okay, I need to squash the chat again. So I press that button. This is crazy. Honestly, I'm super happy. I'm gonna use this real time this week with my users. I mean, with my community. Okay, this is where it's great that it shows me what's not working because I want to make sure that I implement these before we wrap up here. I'm going to say make the timer functional first. Okay, it says that it made the timer functional, and it did. That's great. It actually works. Now, again, this doesn't work in this environment, but it does in the actual. So now let's add authentication. Add authentication. Okay, it says all authentication, by the way, is user accounts. So logging in, making sure that people are authorized to view these pages and actually be here. And it says, I'll add Phoenix's built-in authentication system to the Coffee House app. This will give us user accounts, login, logout, and persistent people I've met history. Okay, so it is currently testing to see if the authentication flow works. It's actually going in, clicking things, filling out the login form with test credentials. Okay, cool. It says authentication system successfully added. It created a test user. So I can now go and test it myself. So now to access the coffee house room, you have to be logged in. Great. So now that we have our first version of the app complete, I just want to show you, you can put it public. So now if I toggled that to public, this URL that it generated would actually be publicly accessible. I'm going to toggle that off though. Or I could deploy it on fly.io. So if I press that right now, it's actually deploying to fly.io. As it's deploying, I'm going to wrap up. As always, I'm going to continue to tinker with this app, make it feel like it's ready for me to actually use with real users. But I think this is really cool what we've gotten for a first product. From start to finish on this video, I've recorded for an hour total. So the fact that I was able to get here in an hour is insane. Again, I've made a lot of apps with AI app builders now. This one has been the most sophisticated app that I've created in basically a one-shot prompt. If it's this good now, I can't imagine how it's just going to continue to improve and get easier and easier, and how those bugs that we encountered that it self-resolved, self-healed, are probably going to be less and less prominent. So really excited to where this one can go. Again, I can't wait to make it look a lot cuter. And if I do that, then I hope to do a follow-up video to share how it looks, because I truly believe that if you're able to create apps like this by just speaking it into existence, then a big part of the challenge is actually making it an app that your users want to use day in and day out and actually engage with. And I think part of that is how it looks and it feels. So that's where I'll be focusing on now that the functionality is there. Great. Deployment success. It is now live on coffeehouse.fly.dev. That is so cool. It gave me all of the stats on this. It's running success, which apparently that is one of the huge benefits of using fly.io, is that the servers are close to where you're actually using them. And so it's a lot faster performance. So that's pretty cool. Thank you so much if you've watched to this point. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm excited to hear if you are inspired to go create an app with Phoenix.new on your own. And I'd love to either see it or hear what you want to build. If you enjoyed this video, please follow and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next video.